I'm Nick Kolakowski, host at Tech Connects, where we dig into all aspects of the tech industry and tech recruiting that matter to you. For our latest episode, we're talking to Jenni Troutman, who's Director of Training and Certification Products and Services at Amazon Web Services, which you know as AWS. She's helping learners at all levels of proficiency adopt critical cloud skills. Given the importance of the cloud to a growing number of tech pros, I want to talk to Jenni about the importance of cloud training, essential tech skills for the future, how generative AI is changing the landscape for new and experienced tech professionals, and much more. So let's listen in. So thank you for being on. And I was really anxious to talk to you because actually, as I was just talking with somebody before the call, this is sort of the season where especially a lot of younger tech professionals are gearing up to graduate. Some of them who've already graduated are thinking, okay, it's a new year. I'm going to try to find, a new job, new position, going to upskill myself and so on. And so, because, since you're so focused on AWS training and certification and so on, I wanted to talk to you about, for young technologists, for older technologists, kind of which skills they should be prioritizing to sort of future-proof their careers, and what AWS is doing in terms of both like kind of the free and paid learning resources for those people as they're thinking about how to train. I mean, obviously, particularly in the context of the cloud.
Yes, and it is rapidly changing, and I would say there are some skills that are persistent and have been for a long time, and then there's some new skills that I think everyone should be learning right now. So the persistent ones that are certainly critical right now are really some softer skills around collaboration, frankly, the skill of constantly learning, which is good for people who are just getting out of school. It's more straightforward. It can be harder for people who have been in the workforce a long time. But because of the pace of change, and it's only been accelerating, of technology and tooling to use in your day-to-day life and work, it has accelerated so much with AI and generative AI that the softer skills of being able to learn new tooling, what's out there, what's possible, being able to collaborate with others to use it effectively, and really critical thinking to be successful with it are kind of skills that have always been important, and I would say are even more important now than they've ever been. So on the soft skill side, I think those are really critical. And when you think about kind of more hardened or technical skills, learning about AI is something everybody needs to do. It doesn't even matter what your role is, whether it's technical or non-technical. It's become, ever since it became kind of front and center to the world, maybe 2 years ago or so, it has become kind of core to our lives, and both in personal life and work life. And it's changing by the day. And so learning what generative AI is and really what's possible with it is the other area that I think everybody should be learning.
It's really amazing. I mean, from generating code snippets to, kind of automating emails and some office process and so on, it's really amazing what AI has done in generative AI. And I feel like every time I look at a visualization of everything offered by AWS and other cloud services as it relates to AI, it seems like all those services are multiplying really rapidly. And it makes me wonder, I mean, if I'm following this advice and I'm trying to learn AI and generative AI as fast as possible, what's sort of the best way to ensure that you're sort of where you need to be on the curve, that you're not falling behind? Because I could see a lot of paranoia that, am I learning the right things? Am I learning them in the right order? Am I ahead or behind my peers? I mean, it seems like there'd be a lot of, I guess, uncertainty around that, for want of a better term.
I'll be honest, it doesn't matter how much you know about it. I think everyone feels behind because it's changing so fast. It's so hard to keep up. Mm-hmm. But I think if you are, first of all, there's a lot of new technical roles. And so that are kind of solidly in the AI space. So anyone dealing in big data, data specialists, in machine learning, obviously, in even software development, because of needing to leverage AI often to underpin applications. In those areas, you need to be not only understanding what AI is, but you need to be actually getting deeper kind of technical skills in that space, which you can find online, right? You can actually get on and practice with the different technologies. We have something called AWS Skill Builder, where you can go on and you can actually practice with the services that AWS offers in that space. And so you can get very deep. But even if you're not in one of those kind of very specific AI type roles, if you can go out and kind of keep up with there's lots of free learning out there around what is AI, what are some of the tooling, and how to write good prompts. So people hear the term prompt engineering. It's not just for traditional engineers, it's for everyone using generative AI tools. Learning those skills and practicing will help you keep up, but you've really got to keep paying attention to what tools are out there and how are people using them so that you can start to incorporate them into your day-to-day work. And there are certifications out there that can show you, one, can make you feel like you have actually learned it, right? So if you're able to get yourself certified, we've got a certified AI practitioner, which is for anyone technical or non-technical that is building foundational AI skills. You can kind of validate for yourself that you have the skills. You can also use them to demonstrate it to, a company that's hiring or the company that you work for.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because a lot of, I mean, obviously, certifications allow hiring managers and recruiters and so on to validate that you have whatever that skill is. And at the same time, though, I mean, a lot of companies are also leaning into this skills based hiring where it's that they want you to be able to demonstrate that you can do whatever they need you to do, whether it's AI or some facet of developing. Whether or not you actually have the academic credentials to back it up. I mean, so in terms of somebody who's kind of on the job market, are certifications super valuable? I mean, if somebody's limited in time in terms of what the time that they have to earn certifications and so on, should they focus on earning certifications if they want to get a job? I mean, there's a lot of people out there who have kind of limited bandwidth to get certifications, and this is a question that pops up a lot. Like, should they pursue this versus other, learning more skills or some other path?
Yeah. I mean, it's fairly personal decision. Having the certification has definitely helped people get jobs. It also, if you look out, Skillsoft does a study every year that shows the top IT certifications in the U.S. from a compensation standpoint. You can see what the average compensation is, and it's quite high for some certifications. For example, our networking certification, our security certification, the average compensation is over $200K a year. So in the U.S., so it certainly is valuable, but it doesn't mean that everyone, it's not for everyone, right? And if you're in a role or you just don't have the time and you need to find a job, then I would say I would still get out there and take the training, learn, develop the skills, and then be able to stand out in a way of showing how you've used it. Bring in your examples of things you've done, ways that you're innovating using the technology that is relevant for that particular role.
Yeah, it seems that the advice that gets bandied around a lot is, develop personal projects, whether that means like launching an app or even just having a GitHub repo and then having that code in the repo. I mean, one thing that was interesting. So the other day I had a AMA on a subreddit, CS career questions. About like every other month or so, I'm on there talking to primarily tech pros who are kind of the third or fourth year of school. And one thing that pops up fairly frequently is that they're not sure what kind of, in order to demonstrate that they're actually interested in technology, that they're passionate about it, that they're working hard on it, they're not sure like what kind of personal project is more impressive than another, or something that's sort of, I mean, what do you think would impress a hiring manager kind of the most if they're looking at somebody's resume in terms of something that somebody's worked on their own, particularly in like a cloud context or something like that?
Yeah, I think the key is showing relevance and innovation. So being able to show that you have been creative, you've leveraged the technology that is relevant for that particular role, and you've been creative. You've come up with something that is not kind of readily available already broadly. That that is really what people want to see, right? They want to see that you're thinking you're thinking differently. You're keeping up to date on the technology and how to be productive, and you're solving real problems. And so if your kind of application that you're building, or whatever it is that your project that you're taking on does those things, that's the kind of things people want to see. It's what demonstrates that you have the skill. It doesn't hurt to also have some kind of credential. So there are certifications, which is more in depth. There's also, you can take some courseware, and in some cases there's like online badges, digital badges you can get, things like that at least show that you have done the learning, or even completion certificates that you can put side by side. But it's invaluable to be able to show to demonstrate that you can actually perform the skill. And that's where certifications are intended to do that, because they're higher stakes than the badging and the course completions, but also the work product that you develop. As long as you can demonstrate that problem solving, critical thinking, and understanding of the technology and skill, that's what they're looking for.
I mentioned also, I mean, if you work on a personal project that involves any number of people, like you collaborated with 3 or 4 people to build an app or something, then that also shows what you were talking about earlier. I mean, there's the technical skills, but then also the soft skills, like your communication, your collaboration abilities. So conceivably, if you angled it correctly, you could also show off the soft skills as well. Hopefully, I mean, it's my seems like a lot of tech professionals struggle a little bit with sort of how to effectively frame soft skills in a way that really kind of sinks in when they're looking for a position. It seems like there's a lot of back and forth. Yeah, so there's that as well. The no, there's the other interesting thing is that it's just there's so much complexity when it comes to generative AI and integrating coding into the workflows and so on. I mean, in terms of like showing that you can indeed like generate a code snippet and then effectively blend it with whatever you need to do in terms of a company project and so on. I imagine that a lot of recruiters and hiring managers and so on are probably testing people for their prompting ability and their AI usage and so on. But I don't know. I mean, is that something that you're seeing in terms of that? Is there a lot more like AI as a part of a typical job interview?
I would say, in fact, across the board, most companies are in some way playing around with generative AI, at least, if not using it, in projects and in work product. But there is a long way to go in terms of um, having it be core to the way we work in the workforce. And so, even if you look at like studies, while most employers are saying that they plan to use generative AI in the next 5 years, they're not all saying that they're using it yet, because they're still trying to figure out where is it going to have the best impact and how do we use the tools, and they're still trying to find the skilled people that can be effective using it. So that's the good news for people out there looking for jobs or looking to upskill, is there are still not a lot of people that really have the skills. There's a huge gap, and so getting those skills is highly valuable in the workforce, no matter your role, whether you're technical or whether you're looking to be a marketer or HR or finance. There's still sizable wage premiums for people that have those skills, because there's such a gap, and companies need to bring those people in or build the skills within their organization um, to really gain the kind of traction they want to gain with the technology.
Yeah, the upskilling factor, especially for things like cybersecurity, is also really fascinating. Just because, with the demand for talent, a lot of companies. See, we did a tech salary report earlier this year, where as part of it, we asked the tech pros that we surveyed about like their preferred benefits and what their companies were giving them and so on. And upskilling and training has shot way ahead. And this isn't like a new thing. This is something that over the last 3 or 4 years we've seen sort of this steady progression. And I imagine in terms of AWS training certifications and so on, there must be demand for like from within companies that, we have these workers, we'd like them now to be trained on, whatever they need in the context of AWS. I imagine that's probably, I mean, is that something that's been picking up momentum? Have you been seeing more of that in terms of internal upskilling?
In AI specifically, I would say we have had demand for cloud skills for quite a while amongst our customers. Really, and when I say cloud skills, I'm talking kind of the breadth of cloud skills, anywhere from kind of basic cloud fluency, having the organization understand what cloud is and why it's valuable to them, all the way down to deep kind of technical skills, whether it be architecting cloud environments, developing within a cloud environment, security, networking, all of those. There's been quite a bit of demand for them. We work with companies to kind of do broad scale upskilling initiatives that go on for quite a while across their organizations. And then in the last couple of years, the demand for AI and generative AI skills has skyrocketed. And so while there's still this need, even for cloud skills, there's still a gap in the market for core cloud skills. And that work continues to help companies upskill their organizations in cloud. Now, pretty much everyone is looking to add AI literacy and technical for the right roles around AI and generative AI as well.
Some people pick up on it really quickly. I have a colleague who's an SEO expert, and he's gone from sort of zero to building all these crazy SEO centric chatbots. Like within a matter of weeks, it almost seemed like. And now you just input like a URL, and the chatbots that he's designed of like, start spitting out like all these outlines and all this SEO optimized content and so on. So it seems like people can pick it up really quickly. I mean, that's granted just one example, but I'm sure there's thousands more of people who kind of very rapidly adopt sort of generative AI skills. In terms of that progress, I mean, the AWS ecosystem is so massive and it's so powerful that sometimes you have people wondering, like, how long does it take to truly kind of master like some of those pathways that go from like being at that novice level to being kind of a specialist expert in AWS tools? I mean, when people ask you that, how long, what do you generally tell them? Is it just up to the individual? Is there like kind of an expected sort of length of time? How does that usually pan out?
I mean, it certainly varies based on the individual, their technical aptitude, their experience. But what I would say is anyone that does not have a kind of foundational AI, generative AI skills that is looking to build at that level, you can do it quickly. You just have to be focused. So, we ran a program internally within our team where we had, I think it was about 8 hours of training that you did over a period of time to get foundational kind of AI training. And it was the same kind of training you do to prepare for the foundational cert. Now, you're going to need to spend more than 8 hours to be ready for certification. But in terms of going through the training, you can do that, and you can get kind of basic understanding of what it is and what's possible. To go beyond that, to go deeper as a practitioner in an area, particularly a technologist practitioner, certainly takes a lot more time. So if we think about, like, we have a machine learning engineer certification. To do that one assumes you've got a year of experience building and training models before you would go take that certification, because that is very in-depth kind of learning that you need to do to understand the different concepts of machine learning and the principles of engineering within it. So it really kind of depends on your starting point and how deep you're trying to go. But I would say, within a couple months, you could get a pretty good, solid understanding, not full time, a couple months of just taking the time to learn as you're doing your day to day. You can get a pretty good foundational understanding. That said, you can't stop after that because of the technology always changing. You've got to keep up with what's going on. But if you want to go deeply technical, those are things that take a lot more time. It's just like if you wanted to be a software developer, those aren't skills you build overnight. That takes a while to learn how to do that.
Yeah, it seems like the progress of technology is always accelerating in terms of like the need to kind of continuously train. And it seems that um, nobody's quite sure where things are going. I mean, you hear stuff about like building AI agents that talk to other AI agents and so on. I mean, when people ask you where you think all of this is going in terms of, the evolution of AI and how people can train for it, I mean, do you just say the future is uncertain? I mean, do you have any ideas about where you think things are going? I mean, how do
So
you
I
feel?
definitely say I have no idea what to expect. However, I caveat that.
Who does?
I
Yeah.
caveat that. We
Okay.
have some idea, right? Things are going to keep changing incredibly fast. The pace at which AI is advancing technology overall is accelerating incredibly fast. And so what I can tell you is it will keep getting better, which means that things that we do that are kind of manual, repetitive, rote, things like data entry, um, kind of basic coding, manual security detection, all of that is going to be performed by AI tooling in the future.
Mhm.
There's not going to be a need to do that basic stuff. We will all need to get really comfortable using these kinds of tools, no matter our role, to handle that kind of repetitive task. And we need then to be curious to understand them, to learn them, take the time, and we need to start thinking creatively about how we incorporate them into our day to day because it's going to allow us all to be far more productive. And if we're far more productive, it's then up to us, or if we have the ability, I should say, to be far more productive, it's then up to us to decide how we're going to use that time. And I think what we're going to start to see is people who are really embracing the technology, who are super passionate, innovative, creative, and driven, will be leaping ahead in terms of their output. People who are less embracing of the technology, who want to continue to do things the way they have, or who are not motivated to take the time that they have if they use them to kind of innovate and be creative will separate. Those other people will separate from the crowd and they'll start pulling back a little bit. So I think we can pretty much guarantee that will happen. Beyond that, I don't see it that different. I always give this example. I don't see it that different than when the internet came out. When the internet came out, we said, "Oh gosh, you can get all this information so fast. All these jobs are going to go away. Where computers are going to do everything. What are people going to do?" And
Yeah.
then and then here we are today, and we use it. It's normal as part of everything we do. We use it in our phone anywhere we are, and we still have more jobs than we had when it came out. I think the same thing will happen with AI. We will get more and more comfortable using generative AI in our day to day. We will find new ways, new jobs will be created, and the stuff that we did that AI can replace will be replaced by the tooling, and we'll evolve from that and continue to have new opportunities. So that's kind of where I see it going. But what those specific new roles will be, or the new technologies that will come out, that's what I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100% fair. Just because, I mean, when you think about it, every stage of the Industrial Revolution, I mean, if you were living in 1911 or whatever, and the automobile was just starting to roll out, nobody could predict like all the different jobs and the way that the entire world would evolve. And we're probably on the same sort of inflection point, similar inflection point, at least one way or the other, in terms of like, now that people have theoretically been freed up to use more of their bandwidth for more creative pursuits, et cetera, how that's going to evolve is obviously whole new thing. So yeah, no, it just is exciting. We'll just have to see where it goes. Well, that's fascinating. Here's some quick takeaways from this talk with Jenni. First, essential skills for the future. The tech landscape is rapidly evolving, especially with the rise of generative AI. While technical skills are important, soft skills like collaboration, critical thinking, and continuous learning are crucial. The ability to adapt to new tools and technologies is essential for staying relevant in this dynamic environment. Professionals should focus on developing a growth mindset and embrace lifelong learning to navigate the ever-changing tech world. Second, it's important to fully understand generative AI and its impact. Generative AI is revolutionizing various industries, from automating tasks to generating creative content. Professionals should strive to understand the capabilities of generative AI and how it can be applied to their respective fields. Learning how to effectively prompt AI models and integrate them into workflows is becoming increasingly valuable, regardless of your role in tech. Staying informed about the latest advances in AI and exploring its potential applications is crucial for career development. Third, AWS offers a wide range of training and certification programs to help individuals gain expertise in cloud computing and AI. These certifications can validate your skills and enhance your career prospects, especially at companies that rely on AWS. While certifications are valuable, they should be complemented by practical knowledge and personal projects. Demonstrating your ability to apply your knowledge to real-world problems is key to impressing potential employers. Fourth, navigating the evolving job market, and this is a big one. The job market is becoming increasingly competitive, which I'm sure you know, and it's essential to stand out from the crowd. Building a strong portfolio of personal projects that showcase your skills and creativity can make a significant difference when it comes to actually landing a position. Additionally, networking and collaborating with others in the industry can open up new opportunities. While the future of AI is uncertain at this juncture, embracing change and continuously upskilling will be crucial for long-term success in the tech industry. We covered a lot more during the discussion, of course, so please give it another listen if you missed anything. We'll see you next time, and remember, Dice is your best resource to find the tech talent you need to fulfill your open roles, and for tech pros, the best place to grow your tech career.